I'm Rhonda.
I am Angie.
And we are Adventures in Nomadness. We're still here in Talkeetna, Alaska, working on our cabin.
All right, on our way to Anchorage, I said we were going to stop at Alaska Fire and Flue to see what the heck's going on with our fireplace installation. We're here, and I'm going to go inside, see if the owner is here. I have not heard back. I am a big stickler for good customer service. And when an employee says, oh, the owner's going to give you a call back to see what the next steps are, and then they don't, it's kind of like, But we're conveniently just driving right past, so I'll be back. I'll give you an update. Jesus freaking Christ. Oh my God. I do not understand some businesses that operate this way. Anyway, I go in. Of course, the owner's not there conveniently. I'm like, oh, that's convenient. I hadn't received a call back from him. So I'm going on the employees there. I'm like, he was supposed to give me a call back, et cetera, et cetera. And all they could tell me was, well, we'll just keep, bugging him to call you. I'm like, that's a horrible customer service. You shouldn't be telling me that you're going to bug the owner to keep calling me. And I said, how do I get a hold of him? And they're like, well, we can't give out his personal cell phone number. I said, I understand that. I said, how about this? How about you call him right now, and we'll figure this out. So they called him, and I can hear him on the phone with the other employee, the poor guy that called me yesterday. And so I finally got on the phone with him. And, just like, look, you canceled on me twice. What in the world's going on here? So he proceeds to tell me that there's been a 2.5 month backup because the factory was shut down, et cetera, et cetera. That's all great, except for I was told that the part was here, but now the person that told me that hadn't really verified that. So song and dance. And then he tells me that they have another store. They have two of them, one in Homer and one in Soldotna, and that they actually have the parts there. I'm like, what? I said, so now you're telling me that you actually have the parts? And I said, so now what? And I said, so did you take the parts for my installation and using them somebody else's? He goes, yeah, that probably did happen. So they have an installer in Homer, and he said they'll bring the parts up this weekend, and I'm great. So does that mean you can reschedule me now for next week? So one guy was trying to reschedule me, but he wants to actually talk to the installer to make sure everybody's on the same page. So they should be calling me back within a day or two with a new date for installation of our wood stove, because apparently they have the parts in Homer, which is only a 6-hour drive from here. And I don't get it. I don't know why they tell you one thing and then something else is. But I'm glad I stopped in, because I don't know that the owner actually would have called me, and I don't know if all this other stuff that they actually had the part. I don't know how long it would have taken. Squeaky wheels. I hate being the squeaky wheel. I hate being so assertive when you have to. But yeah, crazy. What are we doing today? Why do you have two dogs in your lap?
Because this U-Haul truck does not have a bench seat.
Epic fail number one.
Well, and I don't know about that, but they are super needy. We tried putting them on the floor, and they were having none of it.
They're being extra needy, and
yeah, it's very bumpy, so they're not used to all of that sort of rough riding.
But what are we doing today?
We're picking up our appliances and our wood stove.
Right. All right, trying to wrestle a 240-pound wood stove out of the back of a truck. An epic fail, because I got a 10-foot truck, and I didn't realize those didn't have a ramp. Well, those are nice looking.
We bought these boards. They're the top part of a railing system that we're going to put upstairs.
Right.
So what happened is I'm basically varnishing these, but again, just like our siding inside, it made the grain pop out. So there's some issues with it. So I'm sanding before I give this a second coat so that it's not rough on our hands when we're touching the railing.
But it looks nice. Good job,
Thanks.
honey. All right. Meanwhile, what am I up to? Well, tomorrow we have a Matsu Mechanical coming, and they are going to install the propane lines for our refrigerator, which is right here, and our cook stove right here, and they're going to be installing our backup in-wall propane heater right here. So we have finished the drywall in here and the painting. Rhonda painted. We put some trim boards down. Don't look too closely. They don't look all that awesome if you're looking too close, but they're going to be behind the appliances and behind the kitchen cabinet, so we're not worried about it. I am installing right now the 3 electrical outlets we have right here. I've got 2 of them installed already, and I've got a 3rd electrical outlet, and then the light switch for the kitchen here. And so this is pretty easy. I'll set up the camera. You can watch me do this one here. Alright, so I'm first going to strip these wires and I'm gonna bend these around like that. Okay, so the black goes to the brass, and you want these in the direction that you're going to screw these in. And I'm just gonna pinch this off a little bit more. You want to make sure this is really tight. So, I was told to eat my Wheaties the morning I did this. I don't like Wheaties, but I did have a good breakfast. Same thing. I'm going to bend that around so it goes direction of the turn on the screw. So white to silver, black to brass, and copper to green. Okay, then you want this to go in kind of a zigzag, up, down, that. A little hard to shove this back in here. These wires are kind of strong. And just like that. Did a pretty good job of cutting this drywall out. Hey, it's a bright and early morning. About 30 degrees. Big work truck behind me. It's an exciting day because Matsu Mechanical came up from Wasilla and they're installing our propane fridge, our propane cook stove, and our backup propane heater, which is going to be our primary heater for the next month in there since our wood stove got massively delayed when we switched companies. So these guys are really great, super nice, and they should have this job done actually pretty soon. So we're excited, and then another company will bring the propane tank out later on this week and we get everything hooked up. Alright, we got our 3rd delivery truck of the day. Propane tank is in, now we got some propane. Alright, and we now have heat. This is all lit up. Oh, look at that blue light in there. So exciting. What's our next order of business? We're going to brush cut. We rented a brush cutter from Moore's, the hardware store. And before the snow flies, we have to cut a bunch of the brush down on this side of our road. So we had our plow truck driver, the guy that's going to come and plow the snow for us down our road here. Because it's kind of narrow, he's got to have a place for the snow. So we got to go along here and cut down and move a lot of this brush so that he's got room for snow. So snow removal. So we're going to do that today. I think today we're probably just going to cut it, and then we might spend the next couple of days actually just moving that stuff off to the side. But yeah, never ending, huh? I just warmed up to a balmy 37 degrees. It was 19 this morning. Woo! Winter's coming. I love winter up here. And now we have a workshop project. I'm joining Rhonda in the bug head thing. The mosquitoes are gone, which is great, but now we got these really annoying fly things. I'm not sure what they are, but they like to fly up your nose, fly in your eyeballs, fly in your ears. They're actually worse than mosquitoes, in my opinion. But Rhonda wanted me to talk about what I'm doing now. It's more like what we're both doing now. But I'm not going to show you everything I do with the storage shed / work shed, just because some of it's the same as doing the wood shed as we get a little higher up in the walls and stuff. Then we'll videotape some of that. But now we need a place to work this winter, and we need a place to store some of our stuff so we can get it out of the cabin and get the cabin a little bit more ready for us to actually move into it before the snow flies or it gets too cold, whichever comes first. Probably when it gets too cold. What am I building now?
A stage? I know! We could have a band out here. In the wintertime,
to the moose and the birch trees.
In the wintertime, you need a place to hang out with your friends and have entertainment.
Yeah.
Outside.
But this is our storage / work shed that I'm getting a good start on.
What's the size?
This is going to be an 8x12. So I'm attempting to build the rafters, and as part of that I had to cut a piece that goes across at a 65-degree angle, and my compound water saw doesn't quite, I don't think any of them do quite go to that much of an angle. So YouTube, I had to go to YouTube and find a way of cutting a 65-degree angle, and so I kind of made a little jig to do that, and it works pretty good. It's kind of cool. I'll show you. Basically, I cut this to a 45-degree angle, and then you just stick this, and then to make a 65-degree angle, I put the saw on 20 degrees. And if I just stick that in there like that, and now I can cut this. Basically, I'll hold that in there really tight. I made this other piece in here just so I can hold it in place. Like a deadly weapon. Let's see, then this piece goes across the rafter. I'll show you my rafters here on the... So I got these cut to about a 25-degree angle. Whoops. Make sure you got the right end before you screw it in. Whew. That could have been bad. Okay. Turn this around so the dovetails on the other side. I'll match those up. Like that. And then I got all these other pieces I cut out that are gussets, sort of tie these together. I have 3 more to do. Well, I think we're going to get the roof on today, the metal and everything, which would be great. And that way it'll dry out in here and we can actually put the T111 siding on. So we're getting closer. It's a lot of work to build a shed. Glad we didn't make a more of a pitched roof, because this is pitched enough for me. And it's just really awkward. I got pretty good grip, and I kind of got a toe strap wrapped around my waist. Not ideal, and it's just a lot of them I can get from a ladder down there. It's just this top stuff it's just awkward. There's no other way of doing it. But hey, if you put the camera down, we can get the other 9 pieces up. It's painting.
I don't know that I'm doing the nicest job, so
I think it looks fantastic.
don't look at the tops.
Well, don't look at the shed too closely at all. I'm no construction expert.
I just want it to be functional and look good from afar.
So this was Sweetie's birthday request, is that she get a shed to work in this winter, and trying to put the final touches on it. It's been it's in the 40s right now, and it's just above the threshold for using this stain. I think the minimum was 35 degrees. It's October. Oh my gosh, and it's getting cold. So we're sitting by the fire. We've been working our butts off still. We've got some extra days without snow, which is great, although the forecast says it's supposed to get cold next week, and we might have snow. But we're taking advantage of the nice weather and having a fire out here. So where we're at in this grand scheme of things, well, it's still a month and a half away before we get our wood stove installed. But at this point, we've got, we do have heat in there with the propane, and we have our fridge, and we have our oven. We are still living in the RV at this point, but we're going to have to winterize that probably within the next few days to a week.
We're getting down into the mid to low 20s at this point.
Hopefully within the next couple of days we'll get the shed finished, and then we can move stuff out there. So while we're taking advantage of this nice fire tonight, I'm going to demonstrate cooking salmon on the fire. So we were given some local salmon last month by our neighbors before they went back to Idaho, and we haven't cooked it up yet. So I like cooking outside, and I haven't done a lot of it this year because we've been so busy. So I just bought this grate today. I'd like to eventually find the grate that actually comes with this Fireplace, but I bought a grate at the hardware store, and I think we can set the salmon on that once we get some good coals burning. But we didn't have a chance to go salmon fishing ourselves, which was a bummer. But we didn't have our Alaska driver's license, and it was pretty expensive to get a fishing license for out of state. But I have my Alaska driver's license now, and I'm working on this one to get hers. All right, well, it took a little finagling, but I got the grill in here, and it's pretty good. So I moved all the coals on one side and the logs on the other, and got the salmon. Oh, I don't know if you can see this very well, but got the salmon in some foil here, and all wrapped up for the most part. I'm gonna rewrap it up a little bit, and I'm just gonna stick this right on there. Oh. Can't wait. Salmon typically doesn't take that long to cook, but cooking on a fire is a little bit more tricky as far as how long it takes. So I will open it up every once in a while and see how it's doing, but I'll give it at least 8 minutes or so.
It froze last night, and these rocks that we put on the tarp are frozen to the tarp, and there was like a pooch of water right there, and I had a feeling it's probably ice. Oh, it's thawed out. No, it's an ice cap.
See what you got. Ooh, that's cute.
Oh yeah, it's got like this little. Hey, it's an ashtray. Are you into smoking?
No, and I hope you're not either. Deal breaker.
But look. Oh, I know. You could put candy in it. It's a
you
candy
could.
dish
Oh, it's
until
pretty.
It melts.
Leave it outside. Maybe it'll never melt.
Hors d'oeuvres. You could put on your table. It
And
almost looks like a glass slipper if you have like a foot with no toes.
What do you think of the shed? The shed's finished.
The shed's awesome.
It's snowing. It's snowing. It's our first snowfall, and I always forget how much I love snow until we have snow. And I love it. Can't wait to go skiing this winter. Cross country skiing.
What happened to the solar panel?
It wanted to say hi. It's a smiley face. Rhonda's gonna build us a fire. It's been really nice.
Gotta have a warming fire.
Warming fire. Yeah, as we work outside because it's about 29 degrees. But it's finally time to build an outhouse. So we put it off as one of our last projects. But we've winterized the RV, so now we don't have the use of our indoor bathroom. We're just using a portable right now. So time to get that built before we move into the cabin. I'm probably building this a little bit of overkill, but we're going to use 6x6 bases. That'll keep it, and this is pressure treated 6x6s, so that'll keep everything really stable. And it's a good start. We'll build a platform on that and then go up from there. Hey, it's another beautiful morning in Alaska. It's about 24 degrees right now. And I have a little bit more motivation than I did yesterday morning. I really want to get this outhouse done. So it's cold, and the cold wants to zap my battery power from the GoPro, and I can't really use my phone because that's what I have the outhouse plans on that I keep referring to. So if you need any plans, myoutideplans.com has been my go-to source for the shed and the outhouse and the wood shed. But the main thing I've been trying to do with this is to use up any materials, kind of just leftover materials. So I ran out of 2x4, so I used a 2x8 and cut that down to size. And we got tons more wood pile. I mean, we got a wood pile over there with a bunch of scraps, and I'm just trying not to buy more stuff. Just trying to use up what we have. So when I'm done with this, it might have different siding all the way around, and that's okay. So I'm going to continue on building this wall. I have to frame that in. We have a window we bought that we were thinking about using for upstairs, but I didn't really like it up there, so I thought I'd just keep it for the outhouse, and it'll give us some nice light. A couple things with outhouses, you know, they tend to be kind of dark, so having a light source is really good. Some people will use, we're going to use a metal roof, but some people will use like the acrylic, like the plastic stuff for a roof, and so you have some light coming in that way. But I'm just going to do a window over here, and because we're pointing that way, we can always leave the door open too. Nobody lives over that way. And yeah, so it's about a 4x4, and it did feel a little tight, so I'm going to modify it a little bit too, to have these front pieces come out from here versus coming out from here, because that reduces by about 3.5 inches. So, all right, I'm gonna work on this thing today. Hey, what's for dinner?
Hot dogs, if I can figure out how to open the package.
Adele sausages. So one thing about being in the cold, I feel like it always takes longer to do anything. So it's taking me a lot longer just to do a few things on the outhouse. Because, you know, you're kind of moving a little slower, and then Rhonda built this nice fire, so then I come over to the wood pile that I nicely dumped over on its side today.
Looks like there was an earthquake.
I know. There wasn't where we're at, but farther south, a lot farther south, there actually was today. And then I get by the warming fire, and I'm like, oh, this feels really good. And then I go take a video, and the battery's dead, because in the cold, the batteries get zapped super fast. But one thing we're trying to do, because we've already winterized the RV and it's a little harder to do dishes right now, and we don't have a good kitchen counter set up yet in the cabin, we're just trying to make easy things to eat. And one of them, that's because we got a fire going all day, and we're trying to cook a lot more on the fire. So cooked salmon, we cooked a black bean burger and a salmon patty last night. Now we got the Adele sausages. So, and then we're gonna go inside and eat, because we're both cold and tired, and the cold zaps your energy too when you're working outside. It just takes more energy. Huh, honey?
Absolutely.
So Rhonda can now officially say that she's helped with the outhouse.
Yeah. Got my painting gear on. It's 35 degrees, and I am really got frozen fingers.
Yeah, that's the absolute minimum.
There's not a lot to paint.
No, that's the absolute minimum temperature to be painting, but that's turned out pretty good. I'm working on the seat part right now. So I'm building it a little different than the directions, so I'm trying to figure this out as I go, but hey, not too bad for my first ever outhouse. Ooh, there's quite the abyss down there. Anyway, I'm still trying to use as much scrap material as possible, so it's one of the reasons why it's taking longer. I used scraps over here, so I'll put some strips. You can see what these are like, 1.5 feet with gaps in between. So I'll probably put, after it's painted, probably put some sort of strip over those and then seal it. And yeah, getting there. Not sure what I'm doing for a door yet because I'm almost out of material for a door. I'll figure that out too. Meanwhile, good job, honey.
Who needs a door?
Well, when you're pointed to open land, you might not need a door. It's hard to pick out screws with gloves on.